The following is a presentation of the Eagles Sports Network.
We start our position previews with a look at the backcourt here with former All-American and preseason first-team All-Conference pick Braelyn Wykle. I'm Michael Watchering here for the Eagles Sports Network. And Braelyn, I think I asked you something along the lines of this last year, but you pretty much accomplished everything that you can from an individual perspective. Last year you picked up a ring in terms of a conference tournament championship, so now that's one regular season, one tournament title. You won an NCAA tournament game. For you personally, what are your goals set forth for this season?
I think just stacking them all together this year would be very nice. Winning the regular season, the SAC tournament championship, and then making it to regions and on. So I think that would be really exciting.
When you look at yourself from a personal perspective, you're closing in on the all-time record for scoring. Now you would need to average about 30 a game, potentially, to do that this season. But Tatum Berstrom's career three-point record is in the mix. How much, if anything, do you think about records and just the accumulation of the stats that you've put up?
I try not to think about it really at all. Really, I just take it game by game, and I try to remember, the most important thing is having fun. And ever since I played when I was little, that was the most important thing. So I'm trying to keep that, especially this year and next year, because my time as a basketball player is winding down.
Obviously for you, three-time first-team all-conference selection, everybody, not only in the conference, but the region, now the country, knows exactly who you are, what you're capable of doing. With that target on your back, how have you tried to enhance your game, kind of taking your game to that next platform as you get ready for what would have been your true senior year this year?
Yeah, as an individual standpoint, I've really focused in on being a better leader, and just letting myself be surrounded by the great players that we have, because we do have really good players. And as a team aspect, we come in every day, whether we're ranked first in the conference or we're ranked last, coming in, doing our thing, taking each day in practice at a time and giving it our all.
When you mentioned that leadership role, this group loses a player like Addison Bird that has been through everything that you could possibly be through. It's grateful to have her still around campus, but you also lose a player like Abby Wilson, who really came into her own at the end of the year. What did you learn from those two players about being a leader?
Yeah, they're really good at knowing their role, and I think that's definitely what we need this year, for players to step up and fill those roles. And a lot of times, too, people look up to you just because you're a senior, and just being somebody who is composed and knows what to do and say in bad situations is going to be good.
When you look at the returning group of players, let's start with Campbell Penland. She was an all-freshman team pick from a year ago. You have that experience of having a solid freshman season and then wanting to amp that game up to a different level. What do you see from Campbell as she gets ready for this year?
Campbell's a really good shooter, and I think her confidence is stepped up this year a lot, and she knows that we're all confident in her, so that makes her more confident. So I think she'll do better in that aspect this year.
And then a player you get back from injury is Rutherford. She was great right at the beginning of the season, running that point guard spot right there with Abby Wilson. Those two were a two-person wrecking crew up there. How nice has it been to have her back in the fold as you get ready for the year?
Oh, it's going to be great. She's been awesome in practice, and she stepped in that role as a point guard for us. I knew we'd miss her a lot last year, because she gives it her all anytime she steps on the court, and that's just something that we're really going to need this year.
Saw it a couple days ago. Emily Gonzalez, no fear whatsoever, playing on that big stage right down the road from where she went to high school and put together a very fine performance. What's it mean to you to have another addition, maybe not the same style of player as an Abby Wilson, but somebody certainly that has that aggression whenever she gets on the floor?
It was really good to see, especially she's a freshman. She stepped up. And she wasn't scared. She didn't back down at all. And that's just the kind of player she is. She's very shifty and knows how to get to the lane really easily. So I think that'll be really good for us this year and expand our game.
For you, ever since you stepped onto campus, this program, this team has had a great deal of expectations. You look at this year, preseason conference favorites for the fourth time in the last 5 years, a top 10 team in the country according to the WBCA poll. When you look at this year's group and you look back at last season, great year, obviously, but what North Georgia had was that home court advantage in the NCAA tournament. How much of a goal is that for this year's group?
Oh, that'd be awesome to have a home court advantage. We've set up our schedule, like going to Detroit to play good teams, for that to possibly be set in the lineup for us. And also going to say back with that, we have had like a really great season. People respect us in the past, so that's why we are ranked as high as we are right now in the preseason polls. So I think this says a lot about our program and the way that Mincy's kind of set everything up for us.
Final question for you. You're closing in on a few days here to the start of the regular season, and it is a gauntlet to start the year. You have Lander, of course. You mentioned the teams in Detroit. You played North Georgia twice in the first month of the season. What's the key to this year's group starting fast?
I think it's definitely going to be a test for us. I kind of mentioned it in the Tennessee game, grittiness. We have to be gritty because a lot of those games are going to be on the road. So I think if we can get past those, especially on the road, and then get back to home games and stuff, that will be all right.
Braelyn, thanks so much for the time. Best of luck this year.
Thank you, Waltering.
She's Braelyn Wykle. I'm Michael Watchering for the Eagle Sports Network.